Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the date and time node in n8n. Listen, using dates is going to be really important, especially if you're going to have workflows that build around scheduling or looking at the future or in the past. We're going to go through the 7 different operations associated with it. I'm going to show you guys how you can create a date, create dates from the current time, change different time zones, add, subtract from dates, as well as extracting part of the date. Also going to show you how you could set up the date as a tool for an AI agent. And then at the very end of the video, I'll be showing you how you can also use dates within the edit set node. There's tons to cover in this video, so I do expect it to be a little bit longer, but this is a pretty important skill that you guys should pick up and put it in your n8n toolkit. And real quick though, before we jump into this tutorial, if you guys need any help with n8n or any data needs, I am taking on freelance customers. You can hit me up down below in the description. All right, guys, let's jump into this video. All right, guys, so these are going to be all of our examples we go through today. It's going to be a longer video, but it's going to be worth it, I promise you, on that side of things. So first, before we jump into these, what I want to show you is where you can find this node. So click the plus icon, then search date. It should be the first thing, date and time. Now there's 7 different actions in here, right? So add to a date, extract part of a date, format a date, get current date, get time between dates, round a date, subtract from a date. Don't worry, show you all these pretty basic, but we're gonna start off with getting the current date on this side of things. Also, I'm using a manual trigger for this video. So if you aren't familiar where that's at, manual trigger like that, populates it right over here and you're gonna be good to go. Okay, so what we're gonna do is get the current date on this side of things. So I'm just gonna hook up this manual trigger. Super basic, right? So you go to operation, get current date, which is this one over here, and you can include the current time or not, right? So we'll start off with that being off, and what you have is the output field name, and you can change this. So I initially changed this to date time now. We'll say date today, right? And we can execute the step, and we have this on over here. If you want to include current time, right? You can see that it's changed over here. It says 16:03, which means it's 4:03, and I'm recording this on a Saturday. This is how I spend my weekends, trying to help you guys out with n8n tutorials, right? So there is that option on that side of things. But you know what? Let's talk about the use case of different time zones. Like, hey, you know what? This is Eastern time. Let's say I have a customer and I'm building them a workflow and they are out of Chicago. You know, they want to have it based around there. How do I do that? Well, you know, there's a few different options on this side of things. So the first one we would want to do is we use the same get current date, and then you have this time zone over here. And I just put America/Chicago. And if you have a different time zone, how I'd recommend is like 3 different things. Number 1, like go and check out the documentation. Now that takes a little bit more time. You could use something like Perplexity, right? Does a lot of research for you, can point you in the right direction. Or you can use an LLM, right? So just search ChatGPT, right? It'll search with, I believe, GPT-5 and get you your answer on there, or Claude for Sonnet. And yeah, so just go through it on that side of things. I just knew America, Chicago would work on here. I execute the step over here, and then the time is going to be changed a little bit. You can see it says 15:04 now on that side of things, which is an hour back. So cool. We have both of those options. And I'll show you also another way to get the current date a little bit later. You can see it also mentions over here, you can use now or today. I personally use now, but we'll show you that a little bit later on that side of things. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is another setting, which is changing your time zone settings for your workflows. So what I can show you that is if you click over these 3 dots here at the top right, you go into settings, and this will take a second for here to load for some reason. I'll just pause when it's ready. Oh, I guess it's ready now. Okay, so what you have over here is you have your time zone. Now it says default for me, America, New York, but you can change your time zone, and there's so many different time zones in here. And these are gonna be your options also within. When I did mention, you know, search in the docs, but I guess you could just go in over here and search your specific time zone. Now I'm not gonna change my default for obvious reasons, but if you guys want to change your time zone, you could do that as well. And maybe I'll cover all these type of settings one day in a video, but I know that's how you can also change your current settings on that side of things, okay? All right, so up next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna format a date. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to grab this and drag this in over here. Now what I have is from edit fields, right? So let's say we have a date that we created in edit fields. So execute step, and you can see it says 1/21/25, right? Now we can pass that into date and time. And the reason why you might want to do this, like, hey, I have like 10 things that I'm creating over here in edit fields, right? Time to pass this in over here to date and time. So all I do, drag and drop this on here. So it says JSON date, it picks it up 1/21/25. Why I picked that date, I have no idea. I just grabbed a random date from this year. And then you can format it. So there's tons of different options on the formatting side of things. And you can see like we have month, day, year, month, day, right? I'm not going to cover every single one of these, but you have these options on that side of things. Let's say I want to change this up and have the year as a 4-digit integer, then month, and then day. Execute step. And you can see now we have this changed on that side of things. Okay. Again, another really common way to do this is grabbing it from like a document of some sorts. So let's say I have Google Sheets, right? And I shouldn't say document, it could be a database or anything like that. So I have this Google Sheet, right, which has dates on it just to show you. We're actually going to be using this a little bit later. I just put 1/5/25 and then I put 10/10/25, which was yesterday, right? So what we're going to do is just execute this step. You can see I have my row number, my date 2. And then what I'm going to do with date and time over here, I'm going to drag and drop this date again, 1/5/25, and we can change this up. So let's say I want to grab this one over here that says April on that side of things as an example, right? You can see it says January 5th, 2025 for the example. Again, just drag and drop. Again, I find this a very common use case, right? Someone has some date information in a spreadsheet, in a database, you want to change it up. That is one way. Okay, so next thing, and I'll show you also over here, you'll notice that like nothing else was passed through on this side of things. I will show you this option here in a second on how to do that as well. All right, and how we keep the things from earlier, right? So let's go back over here. You see we have date 2. And then what I want to do on this side of things is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to drag and drop this date. And then under options, you're going to have something that says include input fields. So just to show you include input fields, turn this on. And then you can see we keep everything, right? So versus above over here, right? Like we didn't keep anything because that was off by default. Because we kept this over here, we have this formatted date, and you still see it keeps date and date too. So like we'll probably want to have like an edit set node or something like that to remove this if we don't want it anymore. If it doesn't bother you, cool. But now we have this formatted date, which has been added on, right? And also what I wanted to show you guys is there's different custom formats that you could do from dates. So you can see I chose custom format over here and it populated this custom format. So you can not double click, but you can left click, and then you can see we have all of these examples over here. You can grab the milliseconds, fractional seconds, right? Like time zone, day of month, no padding, right? Like there's so much in over here. Month abbreviated as localized string, right? Like I don't know all these use cases, right? But let's say, for example, I want to grab this, right? So 4 Fs. So I'll go over here, go and populate this, right? And now you can see it says Sunday, January 5th, 2025 at 12 a.m., right? Because there's obviously no timestamp associated with that, but you can see we formatted this, right? And again, there's other ways to format as well, even outside of the date and time. This is honestly kind of easy to format the date in my opinion, but you could also change that up easily other ways too. But yeah, so you have that option over here. Again, let's just do like one more example. Let's say localized time with full offset. So we'll just go over here. These are all T's on this side of things. I'll execute the step and you can see 12 a.m., right? Obviously we don't have a timestamp. But yeah, so a lot of options for you guys if you want to have something even more specific and it's not present in over here. Like most of the time I'm going to use something that's already over here that's formatted, but if you need a custom format, that is available for you. Obviously, not enough time to cover every single one of these, and I don't think it's an effective use of time to do that, but that is there if you need it. All right, guys. So our next examples, we're going to add and subtract from a date. So what I have is to get the current date, right? So we have this over here. And then what we're going to do is add years to it. So this is undefined because I changed this up a little bit, but we'll grab this in for the current date. Let's add in 2 years. Then you can see it says 2027 on the side of things. Now you have a lot of different time units you could add with, right? You can add years, quarters, months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. You could think of something like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm notified, let's say every quarter or every month about something. Maybe you want to set something up with date and time, right? And put that on a spreadsheet or some sorts, right? So there's that use case on there. But let's say you want to subtract, right? Again, the same exact option. We're going to go over here. We're going to have the current date. We're going to go over here and we're going to go years and we're going to subtract 2 years. So now we'll go back to 2023 on that side of things, which still feels like yesterday, right? So we have that over here as well. And again, you have the different options to go back quarters, months, weeks, all this type of stuff if you really want to. All right, so we have this next option over here, which is to round a date. So what I have over here is just get the current date, 10/11, and we go over here and it says round up on this side of things. You have also an option to round down. Now, for some reason, and maybe this is just what n8n is, I just see only end of month on here. So that is kind of interesting, but I feel like there should be more options. And maybe that's just a limitation that's in n8n right now, or it's a bug for my current version. But you can see that this gets rounded into November 1st. Again, you could do the opposite as well and round down. So what we're going to do is choose that option now. And we'll just disconnect this. We'll drag it over here. Right. And then I'll execute my previous node, current date on this side of things. And this time we're going to round down and then to the nearest. And you have these other options, right? Year, month, week, day, hour, minute, and second. So it is interesting that we have, when you round up, you only have the month option right now. But, and you can, again, like this is my version. It only shows end of month. So I figure that's a bug that's on the n8n side of things. It hopefully is fixed because I think that would be useful. But then you can see round down, right? Year, week, day, like it doesn't matter. Let's try month first, right? And you can see it says 10/1. Okay. Let's try week on this side of things, right? It goes to 10/6. So it's working properly on here, right? If I go to day, right? Makes sense on there. So hour, like looks like it's working properly. But for some reason, if I go round up, right? Only end of month is on there. Not sure what the bug is, but you do have the option on that side of things if you want to round. So round down currently works. Round up is not working in any, and it looks like minus the month. Like if you need it by the month, that works for you, but otherwise it's not. Okay, so next, sometimes we want to just extract part of a date. So how do we go and approach that? So let me show you that really fast too. So what we're gonna do, and honestly, I'm just gonna keep copying this node up over here because it's working pretty well for this tutorial. So drag this in over here and let's drag that in and let's go into it. Okay, so we have extract part of a date. So let's grab in our current date over here. Let's say we want to grab the month, execute the step. So obviously it's October. Again, you can grab in the year, right? Sometimes you want to grab the day. Again, all the same options that are available. And then you can name this output field as you specifically want to. I do find this helpful. Sometimes you want to extract a part of a date when you do data analysis. Another thing that's kind of important for data analysis is getting time between dates. And let me show you how we want to grab that too. So all we want to do is, I guess I'm using the spreadsheet on this one. So let me just drag that here. And on the spreadsheet, remember I had the two different dates, right? A date and date 2. So what we're going to do is grab that. We have JSON date 2, and then you can change the unit that you want. So like year is going to give me nothing on this side of things, time difference, right? Like it's less than a year apart. It gives me a decimal on that side of things, but then you can change what you want. Like how many months? Okay. We go back over here, 9.16 months. Okay. How many days, right? Execute this step over here, 278.04 days, which is interesting why we're getting the 0.04 because there's no timestamps associated with it, but you could always round it, right? We can set another node and specifically format this how we want it. But you have all these different options associated with it. If you want to find the minute different, hour different, day, and you got to think like there is a lot of use cases on the side things. So just to give you guys an example, one of my freelance customers, right, what we're doing is working on essentially onboarding of customers. So essentially on that side of thing, we're trying to see, okay, time from first contact form into first meeting with the salesperson into getting real estate leads. So we're trying to figure out like how much time it takes from every single step. So maybe you want to do some sort of analysis based around that, right? You could use it on there. Obviously, in that type of analysis, I'm using SQL and Python, but if you need some type of thing like that in n8n for whatever reason to get the time between dates, right? Like, hey, if it took over 5 days to do something, right? Go one path. If it took under 5 days, go another path, right? So I'm trying to just give you guys ideas on how you want to work these nodes, right? Okay. All right. So I wanted to show you guys another example of getting time between dates. And again, we're going to use the same spreadsheet, but this time what we're going to do is we're going to include our input fields. I find that can be helpful on that side of things rather than just having the result. And then if we want to really dial in on the difference, right, between these, we can get the months, which is the absolute value on here. If we could do multiple units, and then you can see weeks, it says 0.72 across the board, right? And that's 5 day difference over here. So if I go over here and choose days, right, it should give me 5. Again, I don't know why I'm getting like 0.04, but you can round it on that side of things. But you can see over here 9 months and then 5 days as difference across the board on that side of things. We include input fields. So if you want to get a super nuanced answer, add in multiple units over here. Otherwise, like I showed you above, I don't know why this is gone, but this will give you the decimal and total for that specific unit. But when you have multiple over here, it gives you the details for like months, days. And again, you could break this down as far as you specifically want. All right. So up next, what I wanted to show you really quick is you can also use date and time with an AI agent. Now I'm not going to do a full setup on an AI agent. We're just going to do like chat message received, right? AI agent over here. I just set up a basic model. Like I didn't even change my model, and this is my different account. We'll go over here. Like you can choose the newest GPT models if you want. Let's just say GPT-5 mini. I'm not even gonna run this agent, so I don't know why, but you can see there's date and time over here, right? So you can set a manual description, manipulate date and time values over here, or you can set this automatically and let it go. You have different operations on here as you wish, right? And then what I have is include current time. Like I find that to be helpful on that side of things, right? And this is set up over here within our AI agent. So you can actually set up date and time as a tool over here if you're going to be working with that within your agent. Okay. Next, what we have over here as well, I just want to show you a few different ways on how you could get the time, outside of the date and time node. Now, personally, I would probably just prefer using date and time and then use edit fields for other data types. But if you want to get the current time, you could use now, as it mentions over there, right? Like if you go towards the top, just kind of a recap, right? It says you can get now or today. So I'll do today as well. I didn't initially plan on doing that, but we'll throw it in as well. But here's now, and actually let me grab this manual trigger, drop it in over here. So execute step, and you can see we get this date over here like that. And again, we can change the same thing if we go over here and just do today. If it was capital today like this. Nope, it was probably lowercase. I apologize. And you can see, again, we get the date on here. Go into now instead. Because it does give you, the timestamp of what time it is. Like you can see over here, whereas this just gives you the date. So like, I'd rather just use now in my own personal opinion. And then also you can format the date in here as you wish. So, just going in over here, right? You can do now.format. And again, you have a lot of different ways that you could format your date. I just put day, month, year, and it'll execute it. I don't know why my n8n instance is crashing. And just to come back over here and show you, I'll execute this step and you can see we have this date formatted. But yeah, guys, that is essentially it, right? Just to go across everything, right? You can get your current date on here with date and time, right? You can change the time zone. I showed you 2 ways that you could do this. You could format a date, right? A lot of formatting options, tons default, or you could do custom formatting, which we have this list of all this, which I'm not going to read every single thing. You can go through it on your own time if you really want to. If you want to also bring in, multiple things over here, your input fields, make sure you include input fields over there. You can also add to a date. You can subtract from a date, round up, which seems like it's broken right now, round a date down, which has a lot of different options. Extracting a part of a date, you can get times between dates. There's 2 different options for that. You could go on a single level, like how many weeks is it? How many years is it? Or you could break it down into months and weeks or months and days, right? Which you have that option over there. And you can also set up date and time with an AI agent, which is really cool too. So you can set this up as a tool if you're going to be working with that in over here. And you can think of something like an AI agent that helps you schedule stuff, right? Like you'd want to probably have your date and time as a tool on here. You can also do this in your edit fields, use now, and then you can format this date as you wish, right? So just do string and then put in this over here as your date. And guys, that is essentially it for this video. I know it's a little bit of a longer one, right? It's not as fun as some of the other stuff here on the channel, but it is important to know, you can use date and time here in n8n because there is going to be use cases for it within your automations. And that is why it is here. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to jump into other n8n videos with playlists here on the channel, I think we're approaching like 40 plus videos now. So we're grinding these out right now. For the rest of 2025, it looks like we're gonna be doing 5 videos a week, 4 to 5 videos a week. So make sure to check those out on the channel, and I will catch you guys in another video.